Hi, this is Michael Sullivant. I'm the CEO of Life Model Works, and I have been doing chats with Kitty Wilder. And so, Kitty, good morning. It's good to be with you.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael.
These chats have been life-giving to me. I know I'm learning a lot just by sitting with you and chatting like we are.
Yes.
We have been talking about the big six emotions, and these are like when they happen to us, which we're hardwired to experience these things, and we're all going to experience them at one time or another in our lives. The goal is to experience them, but not allow them to overwhelm us or allow ourselves to become stuck in those negative emotions. And so we can learn how to return quickly to the joy and the peace and the relational joy, because these interrupt relational joy.
Yes.
So the Bible has a lot of stories that talk about these kinds of emotions. These are human experiences, and part of maturing and becoming like Jesus is to learn the brain skills that we need in order to come back into that better space of peace and joy. So we're now talking about disgust. So sounds disgusting. But so
Yes.
what kind of stories can you tell about disgust that help us maybe get a story into our thinking that will help us next time we feel disgusted?
Right. Yes. Well, there's two ways to feel disgust. And sometimes we're disgusted at something we see pukey, and it just turns our stomach and we're just, But then there's other times when we're disgusted by somebody's behavior. And so there's the two ways of disgust. And again, each one of these, we can be training our level 3, where we return to joy with somebody who's glad to be with us, or we're training level 4, which is the level of the brain where it's our identity center and what it's like me to do. So I'll tell you a story about each kind, the people disgust and the yucky stuff that really turned our stomachs. Well, excuse me. The yucky one I'll do first to get that over with. I have a nose that doesn't smell very well, so I don't pick up scents. But Jim was smelling something in our home that was just like, he said it was starting to smell like somebody had died or some animal had died. And since I don't have a nose that doesn't work, I can't go looking for this smell. My nose doesn't help at all. Kind of a benefit on some of these situations, but not too many in other times. But anyhow, so he was looking around, and what had happened was on the kitchen counter, I had my rice cooker, and I had steamed some broccoli a few days ago and had forgotten about it. That was where the smell was. And Jim was, well, I got that gaggy feeling when I went to clean it out, because I thought it would be better for me to clean it out since I wouldn't be affected by the smell. But, seeing the rotting broccoli, and broccoli can be so potent. It was just, my stomach was turning, and it was, I had to look away. I put gloves on so that I could clean it out and throw it in the trash. And it just was kind of makes you shudder, when you're dealing with some of those yucky things that just, ugh. But in the midst of that, Jim and I were able to have a bit of a laugh about it and be glad to be together, because it is why it slipped my mind. We had guests, and so I was going to have this for part of the meal, but it slipped my mind, and then how it had sat there for so many days. So we had a good chuckle about that. So we were glad to be together. Getting it out of the house and airing out the house was a pleasant experience to finish that up with.
Yes. So this is when we have these negative joy interrupters, relational joy interrupters. So if we are able to be with someone and not be alone and not get isolated, then it just helps us to kind of be more buoyant and return to joy.
Yeah. More resilient there. Yeah. So I'll tell you the other story about being disgusted at people's behavior. I had was planning on attending a conference, and I hadn't signed up for it. It was a women's conference. And I figured, you can always walk into a conference and they'll take last minute signups. I mean, pretty much always. People love to come to, a last minute thing. So we try to make that even for our conferences, that they're like at our Thrive Training, True Identity, you can sign up pretty much near the end and be able to attend. And so anyhow, I was going to go to this conference, and I walked in, I said I hadn't registered, and they said, oh, well, we need to talk to the organizer. So the organizer came over, and she was thinking, she says, well, I really don't know. Tomorrow we're giving out bracelets, and you wouldn't be able to get a bracelet. And I thought, oh my stars, of all things, the bracelet was the least of the worries. They were not welcoming at all to like, oh, we'd be glad to have you here. Maybe somebody else would choose to, on the side say, oh, there's a new lady here. Let's let her have the bracelet. The bracelet wasn't a big deal to me. I was disgusted by their non-welcoming attitude, by making it such a big deal. And I felt like I'm really an intruder here. I even felt a little bit of a shame, by, they're not glad to be with me. They don't want me here. But I was so disgusted by their behavior that it was like, I'm never going to try to be, I don't ever want to be like that at one of our conferences. I want to be welcoming. It just turned me off. I wanted to slink away. I wanted to hide. I wanted to just escape them, and just like, oh, just forget it. I don't even need to be here. And so, but it was like me to still stay there and stay relational and to go ahead and attend the conference. And so, yeah, I went ahead and acted like myself rather than slinking away and being stuck.
Yes. So this reminds me of what Romans chapter 12 says, where it says, don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So there are going to be a lot of situations in life where we might feel that disgust, but the Holy Spirit will be near us and help us to, what's it like to respond with Jesus? What's it like to respond as a mature person in this situation where I'm feeling disgusted? And we can overcome that disgust by doing something good.
Yeah.
All
it
right.
turned out well.
Yeah. So disgust, another one of the big 6 emotions that interrupt relational joy. I want to encourage our friends that are listening and seeing our video to go to our website, which is lifemodelworks.org. There is a really great free resource there called Joy Changes Everything. And it, again, is so surprising sometimes for people to find out what true joy actually is, because it's a lot deeper than what some people imagine. So this is a great resource. It compares joy to an oven, and getting elements and like ingredients of something really good into an oven, and then the oven does its magic and brings this amazing product out.
And before we go, if I could read what disgust is about, what it feels like.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't done that. So disgust, it's not life-giving. When I feel disgust, I want someone with me. When I feel disgust, I want you to share this experience with me. When I feel disgust, I feel like throwing up. When I feel disgust, my tummy does flips. When I feel disgust, I say, yucky, yucky. When I feel disgust, my face wrinkles up. When I feel disgust, I shake all over from my head to my toes. When I feel disgust, I want to run and get away. When I feel disgust, I want you to look in my eyes. When I feel disgust, I want you to be glad to be with me. Now I can quiet myself. And you probably see a pattern in so many of these emotions of being able to stay relational, be connected, but then each emotion has its own kind of tummy curdling things or behavior actions. But then being able to have somebody glad to be with us, building joy, then we can quiet ourselves and the emotion is not ruling us.
Yeah, and these are things that the way God designed life to be, these are things that parents do with their children, but a lot of times children haven't had that benefit of a loving parent and a mature parent to be with them in situations. So we can go back and do some remedial work to build ourselves up and to help each other become
Right.
mature and more like Christ.
Yeah, we're a gift to each other to be able to help each other grow up in community.
And the cool thing is that you can even practice these things before you're actually in the situation so that you have
Yeah.
some resources because you've practiced how to do this. And so
Hmm.
your brain is amazing because even the practice will help it grow and develop so that
Absolutely.
we have
Yeah.
some resources when we get into the actual situation that makes us
Hmm.
feel disgusted.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
All right. Well, this is what we do with our training in Life Model is do these kinds of drills, I call them. The drills that lead to the skills.
There you go. Good word.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kitty, it's wonderful to be with you, and we'll chat again soon. And,
Okay.
and say
Great to be
goodbye
with
to
you
all of
too,
our
Michael.
friends.
I'm enjoying this.
Me too. All right.
Okay. Bye bye.